The day your life changes is the day you decide to think like a winner. Think about that just for a moment. How many people are waiting? Waiting for the perfect conditions, waiting for a guarantee, waiting for a sign that they are allowed to succeed. And while they wait, the world keeps moving. Days become weeks, weeks become months, months become years, and their potential remains exactly where it started, because they are waiting for a victory to give them confidence, instead of building the confidence to claim the victory. Here is a hard truth. Winning isn't a trophy. Winning isn't an event. Winning is a mindset. No one is going to hand you a competitive edge. No one is going to force you to think bigger. No one is going to rescue you from a mediocre mentality. That responsibility belongs entirely to you. You must take personal ownership of your mind. You cannot control the economy, the competition, or the critics, but you can control your focus. That is where power begins. Not in complaining about the difficulty, not in wishing things were easier, but in changing how you process reality. The moment you stop looking at obstacles as walls and start looking at them as weight rooms, everything begins to change. Now, this doesn't mean you won't face setbacks. You will face failure. You will find doors locked in your face. You will find moments of absolute exhaustion. But a winner's mind processes failure differently. Because nobody can do your mental push-ups for you. Nobody can choose focus for you. Nobody can cultivate resilience for you. Nobody can practice mental toughness for you. Nobody can become obsessed with your vision for you. You must do the mental work. Winning is predictable. It's not luck, and it's not magic. It's an internal standard. And that standard begins when excuses end. The hard truths of the unseen hours. No more coasting, no more settling, no more hoping someone will give you a break. Because the truth is, the champion you've been waiting for is already in the mirror. The dreamer mind waits for motivation to act. The winner mind acts to create motivation. The dreamer mind focuses on what is unfair. The winner mind focuses on what can be controlled. The dreamer mind seeks validation from others. The winner mind seeks execution of the plan. The dreamer mind views failure as a final stop. The winner mind views failure as feedback. Because the strongest people in life learn a powerful lesson. You don't need the world to applaud your potential. You only need to stop negotiating with your own excuses. Choosing to think like a winner is absolute freedom, because it means your results are no longer dependent on external circumstances. Your future is in your hands. So stand up, take responsibility, do the work, and build a mind that cannot be broken. No excuses, no hesitations, no victimhood. Just execution. Let that thought settle in. Most people spend years waiting for permission to dominate. They wait for encouragement, they wait for validation, they wait for an environment that feels completely safe. And while they wait, time keeps moving. The days pass, the months pass, the years pass, and the potential remains buried. Not because it was impossible, but because they allowed a losing narrative to run their minds. Here is a truth that can be difficult to hear. Winners do not have fewer problems than losers. Winners just have a completely different response to them. Nobody is coming to force you to think excellently. Nobody is coming to audit your negative thoughts. Nobody is coming to keep you hungry. That responsibility belongs to you. For things to change, you have to change how you see yourself. Real power begins when you decide to take total ownership of your internal dialogue. Understand something vital. Adopting a winning mindset doesn't mean you reject support. You may find mentors, you may find tools, you may find temporary advantages, but even with all the luck in the world, the execution is still yours. Nobody can outwork your self-doubt for you. Nobody can study the strategy for you. Nobody can develop your character for you. You must do the work yourself, and that is incredibly freeing news. Because if it's up to you, you stop waiting on luck. You stop making excuses. You stop blaming. You start acting. You cannot change your ultimate destination overnight, but you can change your cognitive direction overnight. Think about that. One shift in perspective, one decision, one absolute commitment. That is all it takes to begin. Most people underestimate their own power because they think winners have an advantage they don't have. They believe someone else has the secret. But often, the secret is simply a refusal to look for shortcuts. What they need is not more information. What they need is more accountability. The moment you say, "My mindset is my responsibility," everything changes. You become more focused, more disciplined, more determined, because you stop expecting an easy path. You carry the weight yourself. And yes, there will be difficult days. Days when nobody notices your sacrifice. Days when nobody applauds your discipline. Days when nobody understands your vision. Keep pushing anyway. The strongest people learn how to execute without constant encouragement. They learn how to validate themselves before the world acknowledges them. That is what separates those who simply try from those who win. Triers wait for inspiration. Winners rely on identity. Triers hope things will get better. Winners make things better. Triers depend on comfort. Winners depend on discipline. Success is not something that happens to you. Success is something you create by design, and creation requires a mind that refuses to fold under pressure. Sometimes the greatest mental growth happens in complete solitude, when nobody is watching, when nobody is cheering, when nobody is helping. Those are the moments that build psychological strength. Those are the moments that build character. Those are the moments that build champions. So stop looking around for applause. Stop hoping someone will make it easy for you. Look in the mirror. The person capable of elevating your life is already there. The person capable of building your legacy is already there. Do it alone if you must. But start now. Because when you think like a winner, you stop negotiating with mediocrity. You realize that your habits, your decisions, and your effort cannot be outsourced. They must be driven by you. Your mind changes when your standards change. Doing the work again and again, even when it is boring, even when it is heavy, even when no one is watching. That is where transformation happens. Don't wish for a life free of friction. Wish for a mind strong enough to conquer the friction. Because difficulty is not your enemy. It is your training ground. Own your growth, protect your focus, and think like a winner. No excuses, no waiting, no rescue, just action. The moment you dominate your mind, you dominate your future. Let that truth sink in and execute.